Hello friends, in the last few videos we have started discussing about natural selection. We discussed what is natural selection, then we discussed about the nature of natural selection, evidences of natural selection, and also types or modes of natural selection. You can refer my videos, the link is given in the description box. Today we are going to discuss about limitations of natural selection. So we all know that main aim of natural selection is to drive populations towards improvement in order to face environmental challenges, because we know that environment keeps on changing. So for the better adaptation of the population or the organism, so they can survive in the changing environment, natural selection plays an important role, and the better adapted individual then reproduces and produces the offsprings of its own kind. This is known as differential reproduction, which we have discussed earlier. But it is not that natural selection is completely perfect. It has some limitations. Let us see these limitations one by one. It operates on genetic variations which is already present in population. It cannot create new variations on the basis of the requirement of the environmental change, so that the population can cope with the environmental change and get better adapted. Certain variations are required, but this natural selection can function only on the variation that is already present. It cannot create the new variations. To proceed evolution in required direction, alleles for certain variation should be already present from mutations and gene flow, because as we have discussed earlier, it cannot be created. So natural selection has to work on what is already present. Selection leads to slight modification within a population over a limited time span. Over the short period of time, only the slight modification takes place in the population. And if there is drastic changes, it may occur by the slow accumulation of lesser changes over many generations in the course of long time, that is millions of years. So for the drastic changes, very long time is required. In case of mutations with large effect, they poorly coordinate with the rest of the evolving organisms, so deviate from normal and are eliminated by stabilizing selection. If by the mutation some drastic change occurs, that is the large effect, then since all the other organisms are evolving at the slow pace, so this cannot coordinate with these organisms, and hence these deviate from the normal and are eliminated by the stabilizing selection, because stabilizing selection prefer the normal or the mean phenotype, and extreme phenotypes are eliminated. Sometimes one feature changed for the better brings another change for the worse. Therefore, the result is no net increase in fitness. If any feature change and makes them better adapted, then certain another changes takes place which is not beneficial for the organism. So if we see the net result, it is 0. That is, there is no net increase in the fitness, because on one side it is becoming better and the other side it is becoming worse. And how this is possible? Because an allele that produce a particular adaptive feature has other effect also, and that may include non-adaptive ones. So what is the outcome? A compromise in design rather than perfection. Example, male peacock's large and brilliantly colored tail. So male has large and brilliantly colored tail in order to attract its mate, that is female. But on the other hand, these large and beautiful feathers is hindrance because these are easily attacked by the predators. These are preyed easily because these are spotted easily, and because of their large feathers, these cannot protect them easily, and hence there is a compromise in the design. One side it is attracted by the female easily, on the other side it is harmful because these cannot protect themselves from the predators. Similarly, the ancestors of human beings, they were four-footed, but now in the course of evolution, these are evolved into two-footed. This leads to certain problems like the low back pain and also difficulty in childbirth. Also, harmful alleles can be introduced and helpful alleles can be erased. This happens due to the migration and due to the natural disasters, which leads to gene flow and genetic drift. So sometimes adaptations fail, which causes extinction of species during environmental changes. Because sometimes what happens, environmental change takes place at the fast rate, but organisms cannot cope with these changes because these keep changing at a slow pace. Hence, sometimes these become extinct because these cannot cope with the environmental change. Many species that ever lived became extinct in this manner. One of the important examples is of dinosaur. So, seeing these points, what we can tell that natural selection has limited ability and cannot produce adequate adaptations always. What is the conclusion? Natural selection does not lead to perfectly adapted organisms. So this is all for today's video. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share it and subscribe my channel. Thank you.